In a world where we are constantly bombarded by images of perfection, it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling like we're never enough. Every achievement feels like it's not quite enough, every compliment feels undeserved, and every setback becomes a reminder of our inadequacy. But what if this constant need for perfection is the very thing holding us back from true happiness? What if we could break free from the chains of self-doubt and embrace the imperfect, the real, the beautifully flawed version of ourselves? This is the journey of understanding the psychology behind never feeling good enough and how we can finally free ourselves from it. Perfectionism often begins in childhood, where society and even our immediate environment subtly teach us that only the best is acceptable. From an early age, we are conditioned to meet high standards, whether it's acing our exams, excelling in sports, or simply being the perfect child. Often, these standards are set by well-meaning parents, teachers, or peers, but they create an underlying message: if you're not perfect, you're not enough. This can lead to an unhealthy obsession with achieving flawlessness in every aspect of life. At the core of perfectionism is a deep fear of failure. Society celebrates success and often overlooks the struggle, the process, and the inevitable setbacks that come with it. This constant focus on achievement over effort encourages individuals to measure their worth by what they accomplish rather than by who they are. As a result, children learn to attach their value to external accomplishments. When those accomplishments fall short of perfection, the fear of being unworthy, inadequate, or not measuring up takes root. The fear of judgment plays a significant role in the formation of perfectionistic tendencies. Children, and later adults, begin to believe that their value is contingent on how others perceive them. If others see them as anything less than perfect, they fear being rejected, criticized, or ignored. This fear of judgment fuels a cycle of perfectionism, as individuals push themselves harder, never feeling satisfied with their performance, no matter how much they achieve. Another contributing factor is the societal glorification of perfection. We live in a world where social media has become the primary vehicle for self-expression, and the pressure to present an idealized version of oneself is immense. Filters, curated posts, and perfectly staged photos give the illusion that everyone else is living a flawless life, which make those who feel imperfect feel even more alienated. This constant comparison to an unrealistic standard only amplifies the belief that being anything less than perfect is unacceptable. Furthermore, perfectionism can stem from the fear of disappointing others. If perfection has been modeled by authority figures in our lives, whether it's a drive for the best grades, the most beautiful appearance, or flawless performances, individuals may internalize the belief that anything less than perfect will be met with disapproval. This creates a pressure to meet external expectations, which can be incredibly taxing emotionally and mentally. Thus, perfectionism isn't simply about wanting to do well. It's about the belief that one's worth is only valid if they achieve perfection. And when we inevitably fall short of these impossible standards, we're left feeling inadequate, pushing us to strive for perfection even harder, which in turn perpetuates the cycle. Understanding the root of perfectionism allows us to realize that these standards are often unrealistic and damaging, and that true self-worth doesn't rely on being flawless. The fear of judgment is one of the most powerful driving forces behind perfectionism. From the moment we are born, we are exposed to societal expectations and norms that shape how we perceive ourselves and how we believe others perceive us. As children, we're praised for accomplishments that meet certain standards, such as good grades, good behavior, and social success. Conversely, mistakes and failures often lead to reprimands or disappointment. This early conditioning teaches us that approval and acceptance are tied to perfection, while imperfection leads to judgment or rejection. As we grow older, the fear of judgment becomes more pronounced. It moves beyond just parental or teacher approval and extends to the world around us, our peers, colleagues, and even strangers. In adolescence, the desire to fit in with a peer group becomes a significant driver. We start to measure our self-worth by how others see us. Our looks, our behavior, and our achievements all scrutinized, and the thought of being judged or criticized can become paralyzing. The constant need to conform to the idealized image we believe others want to see keeps us trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. In today's world, social media amplifies this fear. With every post, tweet, and picture shared online, we open ourselves up to the judgments of a wider audience. The likes, comments, and shares we receive become validation for our worth. A lack of positive feedback or negative comments can trigger feelings of insecurity and inadequacy. This creates a false sense of self-worth, relying on external validation rather than internal self-acceptance. The constant comparison to others with their seemingly perfect lives and curated personas intensifies the fear that we're not good enough. The fear of judgment often leads to perfectionism because we believe that if we present a flawless version of ourselves, we can avoid criticism and disapproval. If we look perfect, act perfect, and perform perfectly, then we won't be judged. We tell ourselves that perfection will protect us from rejection, failure, or ridicule. However, this constant effort to uphold an image of perfection is exhausting and unsustainable. The more we focus on pleasing others and gaining their approval, the less we focus on our true selves and our own well-being. In reality, judgment is inevitable. We can never fully control how others perceive us, and no amount of perfection can shield us from the occasional criticism or rejection. The fear of judgment paralyzes us, making us afraid to take risks or be vulnerable. It holds us back from expressing our true selves, creating a mask of perfection that is often far from who we truly are. Learning to let go of the fear of judgment and embrace our authentic selves is the first step toward freeing ourselves from the grip of perfectionism and self-doubt. Self-doubt is one of the most insidious and powerful emotions that perpetuate the cycle of perfectionism. It quietly undermines our confidence, creating a narrative where we constantly question our abilities, our worth, and our potential. It's a voice inside our heads that tells us we're not good enough, not capable enough, and that we're destined to fail no matter how hard we try. This internal critic not only discourages us from taking risks, but also keeps us trapped in the pursuit of an unattainable ideal of perfection. The roots of self-doubt often lie in early experiences of failure or criticism. Perhaps as children, we were punished or ridiculed for not meeting certain expectations. Maybe we were told that our efforts were insufficient or that we didn't measure up to the accomplishments of others. These early messages create a deep-seated belief that we are not good enough as we are. As we grow older, the fear of failure intensifies and self-doubt takes over, convincing us that we'll never meet the high standards we've set for ourselves or that others expect from us. What makes self-doubt so destructive is its ability to persist even in the face of success. Many perfectionists experience an ongoing sense of inadequacy despite their accomplishments. When they do succeed, the joy is fleeting because their self-doubt tells them that they could have done better or that their success was just a fluke. This leads to a constant dissatisfaction, no matter how much they achieve. They begin to question the legitimacy of their accomplishments and feel like imposters in their own lives, worried that others will eventually discover they are not as capable as they appear. This pattern creates a vicious cycle. Self-doubt drives perfectionism, and perfectionism fuels self-doubt. The more we strive for perfection in an attempt to silence our inner critic, the more we reinforce the belief that we're not good enough unless we are flawless. When we inevitably fall short of perfection, self-doubt grows stronger, feeding our feelings of inadequacy. This inner conflict makes it difficult to embrace imperfection or take pride in our efforts because the voice of self-doubt is always there, casting doubt on our worth. Moreover, self-doubt often leads to procrastination and avoidance. The fear of failure becomes so overwhelming that we avoid taking action altogether, preferring to stay in our comfort zones rather than risk making a mistake. This avoidance can lead to missed opportunities, preventing us from growing and learning from our experiences. Ironically, the very thing we fear, failure, becomes the result of our self-doubt, as it prevents us from moving forward and embracing the process of growth and self-improvement. The key to overcoming self-doubt is learning to quiet the inner critic and reframe how we view our efforts. Instead of measuring our worth based on perfection or the approval of others, we must begin to value the process, the learning, the growth, and the resilience it takes to keep going despite setbacks. By acknowledging that mistakes and imperfections are a natural part of being human, we can begin to break free from the grip of self-doubt and start to build genuine confidence in our abilities. Breaking the cycle of perfectionism and self-doubt is not an overnight process, but it is a crucial step toward achieving inner peace and personal growth. For many perfectionists, the pursuit of flawlessness becomes a way of life, ingrained in their thinking and behavior. The constant pressure to be perfect eventually leads to burnout, frustration, and a feeling of inadequacy. However, recognizing the cycle and taking deliberate actions to break free from it is the first step toward embracing authenticity and self-compassion. The journey begins with awareness. The first and most essential realization is that perfectionism is not a virtue, it is a trap. Perfectionism often masquerades as a desire to succeed, to do well, and to be recognized. While striving for excellence is healthy, demanding perfection at all costs is counterproductive. It is crucial to understand that perfection is an illusion. No one is flawless, and expecting yourself to be perfect only sets you up for disappointment and constant self-criticism. Once you recognize that perfection is unattainable, you free yourself from the endless chase and the unrealistic standards you've placed on yourself. The next step in breaking the cycle is to redefine success. Perfectionists often define success solely by the outcome, whether it's a perfect performance, a flawless project, or a spot-free appearance. However, success should be viewed as a process, not just a destination. Embracing the journey means acknowledging that mistakes, setbacks, and imperfections are part of the learning experience. Success is about growth, effort, and resilience, not achieving an unattainable ideal. By shifting the focus from outcome to process, you allow yourself to appreciate the work you've done, regardless of whether it was perfect or not. Another critical aspect of breaking the cycle is practicing self-compassion. Perfectionists are often their own harshest critics, holding themselves to standards they would never impose on others. Instead of beating yourself up over mistakes, treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend. When you make a mistake, acknowledge it, learn from it, and move forward without self-judgment. This shift in mindset allows you to develop a healthier, more realistic relationship with failure. Additionally, it's essential to embrace vulnerability. Perfectionism thrives on the fear of judgment and failure. To break free from its grip, you must be willing to show up as your authentic self, even if it means being imperfect. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, it's a source of strength. By embracing vulnerability, you allow yourself to take risks, make mistakes, and grow without the constant fear of judgment. Finally, setting realistic and flexible goals is crucial. Perfectionists often set themselves up for failure by creating impossible standards. Instead of aiming for perfection, set goals that are challenging yet achievable. Break large tasks into smaller, manageable steps and celebrate progress along the way. This shift in how you approach goals helps you to focus on effort and growth rather than a perfect outcome. Breaking the cycle of perfectionism requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to embrace imperfection. By letting go of unrealistic expectations and redefining success, you create space for self-acceptance and peace of mind. This process is not about becoming complacent, but about embracing the beauty of being human, flawed, imperfect, and always growing. Embracing imperfection is the final and most liberating step in breaking free from the cycle of perfectionism. For many of us, the idea of imperfection can feel uncomfortable or even threatening, as we have spent so much of our lives chasing flawless outcomes and fearing failure. However, it is precisely through accepting our flaws and embracing our true selves, imperfections and all, that we can unlock our full potential and experience true peace. The first step in embracing imperfection is to acknowledge that no one is perfect, and that's okay. We live in a culture that often glorifies perfection. Whether it's the flawless skin we see on social media, the picture-perfect lives depicted in movies, or the idealized versions of ourselves we try to present to the world. However, these images are often distorted and unrealistic. In reality, everyone has struggles, setbacks, and imperfections. Accepting that imperfection is a universal human experience is the key to freeing ourselves from the impossible standards we place on ourselves. Once we let go of the need to be perfect, we begin to find relief in simply being human. The next step in embracing imperfection is to shift our focus from perfection to progress. Instead of measuring our worth by the flawless execution of our goals, we can measure success by the effort, growth, and learning we experience along the way. Life is a continuous journey of improvement, and each mistake or failure is an opportunity to learn and evolve. By celebrating progress, no matter how small, we shift our perspective from deficiency to growth. This mindset not only helps us overcome self-criticism, but also encourages us to take risks, make mistakes, and learn without fear of judgment. Another essential part of embracing imperfection is letting go of comparison. Perfectionism often arises from the desire to compare ourselves to others, whether it's in our appearance, achievements, or abilities. However, comparison is the thief of joy. Everyone's journey is unique, and constantly measuring ourselves against others' seemingly perfect lives can only lead to feelings of inadequacy and frustration. By focusing on our own path and recognizing the beauty in our individuality, we can stop feeling like we're constantly falling short. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we can embrace our own journey with all its ups and downs as uniquely our own. Furthermore, embracing imperfection requires self-compassion. We are often much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on someone else. When we make mistakes or fall short of our expectations, we tend to criticize ourselves harshly. Self-compassion means treating ourselves with kindness and understanding as we would treat a friend in the same situation. It means recognizing that mistakes are part of being human and that we are worthy of love and acceptance even when we are imperfect. Finally, embracing imperfection is about letting go of the need for external validation. Perfectionists often seek approval from others to feel worthy, but true self-worth comes from within. By learning to validate ourselves and acknowledge our worth, regardless of our achievements or flaws, we can break free from the constant need for external praise. This shift allows us to be more authentic, confident, and comfortable in our own skin. Embracing imperfection is not about resigning ourselves to mediocrity or abandoning self-improvement. It's about finding freedom and accepting who we are, flaws and all. When we stop chasing perfection, we give ourselves permission to live fully and authentically, without fear of judgment or failure. In embracing imperfection, we open the door to a more peaceful, content, and fulfilling life, where growth, authenticity, and self-compassion are the true markers of success. You